Hi, I'm Tash from Quirky Hand Knits. This is me. Through Quirky Hand Knits I design and create beautifully hand knitted accessories, and my aim is to give tips to other knitters to empower them to create the best knitting they can do. You can find me as Quirky Hand Knits all over the place online. I'm here on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Periscope and Ravelry. So there we go. In the last video, if you watched it, I was showing you how to create the wraps and turns for short row heels. And these short row heels are beautiful, firstly because they fit really nicely, and secondly because they're completely holeless. So in this video we are going to have a look at how to create the holeless wraps here when you are increasing back out from this corner piece so that you get the stitches for your foot. I tend to knit my socks cuff down, so they start up here and then I end at the toe. Let's get going. Okay, so in the last tutorial we looked at how to create these wraps here. You can see it a bit better there, that go around the stitches to make your short rows. What we've done now is we have finished all of the wraps. So we've got all the wraps down here. You've got some stitches going across the bottom of the heel, and then you've got a load of wraps around the other side. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to work a wrap knitwise and to work a wrap purlwise, and these are two key elements of this short row heel, and that's what gives you the really holeless feel, the seam at the end of the heel. So I have got 8 stitches in between my first and last wrap stitch. So where are we? So that's my first wrap stitch, 2, 4, 6. I've got 2 more to knit, and then that's my next wrap stitch. So we're going to knit right the way up to that first wrap stitch. Okay. Right, so this stitch has been wrapped, as you can see, and what we've got to do is work this wrap so that we can turn around and go back the other way. And this is where it's a bit different to a normal wrap in the way that it's worked. A normal wrap you would probably pick up from here and you would knit it together. This one we're actually going to come in from the top. So, and this is really tricky to do on camera, so apologies. So you've come in from the top, so you've pulled it up and it's now on your working needle. Then you're going to knit that wrap stitch by itself. And then the last thing we're going to do is pass the wrap over the top of the stitch that was previously wrapped. Okay? Then, in order to turn round, you need to wrap this stitch and take it back. Now, can you see that this stitch now has 2 wraps, whereas that one only had 1? That's because it's the first stitch when we start increasing. It's only the first 2 stitches that only ever have 1 wrap. Everything else is double wrapped, and you pick up 2 wraps in the same way as you did the first one here. I'm going to turn around and we're going to go back and work across the row so that we can go back the other way. So you just need to purl across as many stitches as you've got to get to the next wrapped stitch, because the idea is now that we are increasing the number of stitches that you're working on each row. So there we go, that's the last stitch, and this is the first wrap stitch. Okay, so to work this wrap purlwise, you would think that you would have to go in from the top down on the same size that you're working, but actually you need to, and I'm trying to get the camera to focus, you need to go in from the top on the right side of your fabric, then bring your needle round and purl it. So you've still got that wrap. Can you see you've got your new stitch here, and you have got this wrap here too. And then, sorry, my camera isn't focusing particularly well. Right, and then you need to pull this wrap over the top of that stitch. And that's how to work a wrap purlwise. So we're going to do that again. So we've got to wrap this stitch so that we can knit back the other way. And remember that we always knit the first stitch after wrapping because it anchors the wrap really nicely. So I'm just going to take this all the way back to the other side and find that first wrap stitch. Here we go. And this is where different colour yarn really helps. So that's the last stitch to wrap. This one is the first one we need to work. And now can you see that this one now has 2 wraps because we've double wrapped it. So when you put your needle through from the front, you need to pick up both wraps and then turn it back through and knit the stitch that was wrapped and let that off. And then you take your needle in on the front of your work through both wraps, and I find that it helps to hold the yarn really tight here so that that stitch doesn't fall off your needle. And you toss those 2 wraps over the top of the knitted stitch. Then we are going to, we're going to wrap this stitch, take it round and purl back the other way. Nearly there. Okay, one more I think, yes, one more. Right, now can you see that this stitch also has 2 wraps around it? There's one there and one there. So we need to take our needle through the front of the work. Can you see? It's kind of tricky to do this on camera. So it's got to go through the front of the work, through both wraps, and then you bring your needle back round, kind of swing it through so that you can purl this stitch and drop that stitch off the needle. Then you need to take your needle through and pick up both wraps from the front of your work, from the right side of your work, sorry, that's what it should say. And then you pull this through carefully and drop the wraps. So there we go. Okay, so I hope you found that video useful. I hope that shows you how to work both the wrap knitwise and working a wrap purlwise, because they are slightly different. Although they use the same techniques, they are slightly different, and you have to remember to work both wraps on the right side of your work, not the wrong side. And that's what makes all the difference in getting this heel, this set of stitches on the heel as neat as they are here. That's what makes all the difference, and that will give you your holeless heel. So if you liked this video, please do give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, I will respond to all of them, and come find me in other places and tell me how you tell me what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, bye.